Okay, so sit yourself on your left and just come into a cross-legged position. Let's have a little wriggle about so that you feel as though you're sitting evenly. And then feel that you can draw onto the front of the perineum. So you kind of hold onto your knees and lift the front chest up so that you can roll onto the fronts of the seat bones towards the middle front of the perineum. Lift and open the chest. Look down at the floor. Look at something that's not moving. Listen to the sound of the breath as it enters and as it exits. Bring your hands into Namaste. Press the palms firmly together, lengthen from the armpits into the elbows. And then with an exhalation, allow your eyes to gently close. So as you inhale, fill your lungs fully from the bottom of the lungs to the top of the lungs, feeling that you're bringing in the energy of the environment which percolates through the lungs and into the blood. Allow the out breath to be soft yet full. Breathing into both lungs, breathing out both lungs evenly. Just maintaining your focus on the breath as you inhale, feeling that the chest rises upwards and outwards, and as you exhale, as the chest lowers and the ribcage relaxes. Observe the stretch of the intercostal muscles between the ribs as you inhale, and the relaxation of the intercostal muscles as you exhale. Observe that at the end of the in-breath and at the end of the out-breath, there is a natural moment of silence. So not of attention as such, but a moment where you sit with the breath before the next stage of the breath, the exhalation. At the end of the exhalation, there is just a natural pause. So just observe that natural pause. it's just a brief moment where the breath is over and the body prepares for the next breath. Just maintaining that rhythm. Draw your chin down to meet your chest with an exhalation. Maintain the breath, but also seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. Just developing a feeling of abundance in the heart area. And then gently release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. And then as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open. Just hold onto your knees and lift your chest. So notice that as you draw the chin away from your chest, maybe as you draw your chin upwards, you feel the shoulder blade region kind of move inwards, almost concaving. So just see if you can lift your chest, draw your chin forwards, and then draw your chin down, but without allowing the shoulders to round. So sometimes when we come into Jalandhara Bandha, we do this. And then everyone just do this for a moment. Just let the back kind of bulge outwards. And then try and breathe. So the top of the in-breath is kind of distinctly obstructed. So, and then come from here, lift the chest, and then draw the back chest in. So you feel all of this lift at the front chest and the back chest becoming straight. And then one more time, draw the chin forward and try and make contact between the chin and the chest for Jalandhara Bandha. So try and do it without letting the shoulders round. And then bring the head up. And hopefully when you bring the head up, there's no kind of change in that shape. So sometimes we kind of draw the chin down at the expense of dropping the chest. So if you find that happens and it's difficult to avoid, then get a belt and fold the belt. Just kind of roll it up into a ball. And then you can use that between the chin and the chest to help you to kind of make that connection, but without losing the lift of the chest. We'll come back to that in a little while. Alternatively, if you've got like one of these lavender eye pillows, which are nice, you can put that there, or even a pair of socks just to kind of wedge it underneath. So just something to bear in mind, because we're really gonna focus on pranayama this morning. I hope that's okay with everyone. So we're going to focus on pranayama and seated pranayama. So often we do reclining pranayama, but we're going to do seated. Before we do that, we just do a couple of lingering poses just to get the body kind of working. So come into have the big toes together, the knees apart. Just come into Adho Mukha Virasana. So just as you come into sit back on your heels, draw your attention into the shins. Press the shins into the floor. Press the shin skin into the floor. Press the shin bone into the shin skin so that the thighs respond. And then lift consciously from the hips up into the armpits, drawing the shoulders down. Just do a Jalandhara Bandha, lifting the chest up to meet the chin. We're not going to hold that. It's just practice to keep that Jalandhara Bandha lifted rather than dropping. And then release your Jalandhara Bandha as you come forwards, but try and keep the top of the chest reaching towards the chin. Spread the palms. Try and keep the seat bones down on the heels, and then bring your forehead down. Breathe in evenly, deeply, listening to the sound of the breath. Just come up onto your knees, turn your toes under, and then come up into dog down. Let your head hang down. Let the back of your neck be long. Activate your legs, focusing deeply at the kneecaps, at the thigh muscles, turning those thigh muscles inwards to give you space to lift your seat bones, drawing the shoulder blades in towards the front chest. Breathing evenly and deeply. And then step your feet forwards, come up into a standing position. Bring your feet as wide apart as the mat. Turn your toes in. If you're protecting your back, just come forwards with your arms stretching out onto the wall. Otherwise, raise your arms up, extend your fingertips up towards the ceiling, and then bring the thumbs into the crease of the elbows. Wrap your fingers around your elbows, and then come forward and hang down. So just maintain your focus on the breath, maintaining the focus on the 4 stages of the breath. That's the inhalation, the retention of the breath after inhalation, the exhalation, and the retention after exhalation. I don't want you to particularly hold the breath at the moment, but just observe that there is that natural pause between the in-breath and the out-breath. So the in-breath, it should be long, subtle, deep, rhythmic, and even. And the energizing ingredients of the environment, of the atmosphere, percolate into the cells of the body, the lungs, rejuvenating our energy, rejuvenating life. That moment of silence that leads into the retention allows the energy of the breath to be fully absorbed and distributed to the entire system via the circulation of the blood. The exhalation allows us to slowly discharge accumulated toxins from the use of the energy in the blood. By pausing after the out breath, according to your capacity, we purge the body of stress, purged and drained away. And the mind remains silent and tranquil, like the glassy surface of a lake, and there's no wind or disturbance. Just gently release your arms down to the floor. Just roll a bolster onto your mat, and you're going to use that for your head. So if you haven't got a bolster, you can just use a cushion. We're going to walk your hands forwards, maybe step your feet back, and then come back into dog down. But this time you're going to use a support for underneath your head. And I want you to just focus on the inhalation, that natural pause at the top of the inhalation, the exhalation, and the natural pause at the bottom of the out breath. Perhaps you find that in dog down with your head supported, that you naturally breathe more deeply. Perhaps you rise the in-breath from the perineum to the collarbone and the out-breath from the collarbone down to the perineum, the apanic breath. So if that hasn't naturally come to you, then just see if you can incorporate that apanic breath, rising the in-breath, rather from the bottom of the lungs, but from the base of the torso, from the perineum, up the spine towards the collarbone, and then from the collarbone down towards the spine. From holding you in the pose for too long, then rest down. But if you can stay and maintain and focus specifically on the breath, then do. come down onto your knees. Just sit back on your heels, draw the bolster between your knees, and then stretch forwards back into Adho Mukha Virasana. So you might have to just rest your chin on the bolster. If that's uncomfortable for your neck, you can bring your head, just rest it on one side or the other. Just focusing on that apanic breath, rising from the perineum to the collarbone with the in-breath, and vice versa with the out-breath. Okay, and then just sit back on your heels. So go back to the lift that you sit on for cross legs at the beginning, and just sit on the lift. Just again, make sure that that lift is level underneath the seat bones, and then bring the feet wide. So bring the feet wide apart as though we're going to go into Upavista Konasana. So again, just feel that your seat bones are level. Press the hands into the floor behind the seat bones or into the lift that you're sitting on, and then just work to lift and open the chest. And get hold of the back of the right knee and then bend the knee. Bring the top of the foot onto the floor so that the heel lines up with the center of the spine, with the belly button. So if you're wearing a zip on your jacket, it's a good kind of indication. As long as it's sitting on straight, that's where the block needs to be, the heel needs to be. And then bring the other leg in. Bring the top of the foot onto the floor, keeping the knees on the floor. So if your knees are kind of lifted like this, then just shuffle forwards on your lift a little so that you can bring the knees down. These heels should be in line with each other. So one heel in front of the other. Then you hold on to your knees and then lift and open the chest. So this is the stage. So your knees are quite high there. So maybe try sitting a little bit higher up to see if you can lengthen your thighs down to bring the knees down onto the floor. So give yourself more of a lift. If you've got a bolster, perhaps just sit on the end of the bolster. So give yourself that extra height that sometimes you need to, especially if you've got kind of stiffer hips, then there you go, that's better. So sitting a little higher just gives you that extra bit of lift. So you can either stay with the two heels together, or you can post the toes of the left foot between the thigh and the shin. Quite nice at this time of year, keeps your toes warm. But this is only if you've got kind of uncomfortable knees and uncomfortable thigh kind of ankles, then don't do this. And then you reach through, get hold of the right big toe, and then draw it up through the left thigh and calf, and then let go, and then hopefully it just maintains its hold. So just do the first stage or this second stage. Hold onto your knees and then lift. Elevate the chest. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears. So Siddhasana is a good seated position for pranayama. So just draw the chin forward and make that connection between the chin and the chest, and then decide to make that connection. Do you round your shoulders? And if you do, then you can use something in between the chin and the chest to kind of make that contact without losing the lift of the chest, because that rounding action of the shoulder blades is going to stop you from breathing fully. So Jalandhara Bandha, and then lift Mula Bandha, the anal sphincter up towards the diaphragm region. And then just go back to your apanic breath, raising the in-breath from the perineum up to the collarbone, and from the collarbone down towards the perineum. Observing that moment of natural pause between the in-breath and the out-breath, and the out-breath and the in-breath. The in-breath should be long, subtle, deep, rhythmic, and even. The energizing ingredients of the atmosphere percolate into the cells of the lungs and rejuvenate life. Retaining one's in-breath, the energy is fully absorbed and distributed to the entire system through circulation of blood. The slow discharge of air in exhalation carries out accumulated toxins. By pausing after the out-breath according to one's capacity, all stresses are purged and drained away. The mind remains silent and tranquil. If you over prolong the pause, you will feel a sudden lurch of panic and suck in air greedily. This is our instinctive attachment to life reasserting itself. Inhalation is the extension and expansion of the self. With the help of the in-breath, the self embraces its sheaths up to the skin of the body. Like a lover embracing his beloved. So just apanic inhalations, apanic exhalations. And then release Mula Bandha, release Jalandhara Bandha, and then raise the head. So we're going to do a little Viloma pranayama, which uses this apanic breath, but we interrupt it. So the in-breath, we're going to kind of start at the perineum, and then it's like you're walking up a ladder, stopping on each rung of the ladder. So with each, you start from empty lungs, and then you breathe in, and then you gently suspend the breath. And without exhaling, you inhale again, and then you stop on the next step. And then you continue to do that until the lungs are full, at which stage you just breathe panically down back to the perineum without interruptions. So that's the first stage of Viloma pranayama. So let's just work in Viloma 1 for a little while. So you interrupt the in-breath and the out-breath is normal. So just a few normal inhalations, normal exhalations to start off with. And then start with it conscious exhalation all the way down to the perineum, and then begin your cycle of interrupted in-breath. Remember that the hold should never be a grip. It should just be a mere suspension, just allowing in that time of suspension for the energy to percolate more deeply into the blood. So an exhalation and then interrupted in-breath. Using Jalandhara Bandha and Mula Bandha to just maintain your energy. It's impossible when we turn our attention to the inner movement of breath to use our senses externally at the same time. You cannot also be thinking that you must stop at the supermarket on the way home after work. Pranayama is the beginning of withdrawal from the external engagement of the mind and senses. That is why it brings peacefulness. Pranayama is the hinge between extroversion and introversion. When you start asana practice, you gain increased confidence, poise, self-assurance, and the radiance of health. After all, energy is in itself an attractive quality. By all means, enjoy these benefits in your contact with the world. But yoga also asks us inwardly to invest some of what we've gained. This is introversion in its positive sense, not a shying away from the world out of feelings of inadequacy, but a desire to explore your inner world. The breath, working in the sheath of the physiological body, serves as a bridge between body and mind. As you hold and retain the breath, just observe the shoulders, make sure that they're not tense, make sure that the arms aren't tense, make sure that there's no tension in the body. It's just a gentle suspension of breath. Okay, and then just finish with an exhalation. And then go back to normal breathing, no longer interrupting the in-breath. Just raise your head, release Jalandhara Bandha, release Mula Bandha. And then just release your legs. Maybe there is a feeling that you need to stretch the legs out. So go with that feeling, just stretch the legs into Dandasana. Just stretch the legs away, tighten the kneecaps, push the heels away, pull the toes towards your kneecaps. Lift the chest, spread the toes. And then bring your feet apart again, as though you're going to go into Upavista Konasana. And this time, bring the left leg in first. So bring the opposite leg in first to the left side if you did the right side first last time. So bring the left leg in first. Again, just bringing that top of the foot onto the floor, rolling the heel forwards, and then bring the other leg in. So maybe if you started to kind of get a bit of pins and needles in the previous way, then just keep your feet at this first stage on this side, rather than kind of tucking the toes in. So you could just stay at this stage if you started to get a bit of pins and needles. Otherwise, you can just draw the toes of the right foot in between the left, in between the calf and the thigh of the left leg, and then get hold of the big toe, and then just draw that big toe up and out, up through the calf and the thigh, and then lift and open the chest. So I can see that everyone is feeling the urge for a bit of a stretch. So that is good to just go with that instinct. So let's just stretch your arms out in front, interlock the fingers, turn the palms all the way out, and then raise your arms up. Extend your arms up towards the ceiling, keeping the arms straight. So just breathing evenly. Make sure that both knees make contact with the floor. So Andrew, you can just bring that front foot, bring it in front of the other rather than on top of, and then that knee should come down. Don't force it, just be comfortable. Just turn to the right side with the arms extended upwards in Padangalyasana. Come back to the center and then turn to the left. And then come back to the center and then just release your arms, bring your hands onto your knees. So maybe there's new energy in your arms, in your shoulders. Again, come back into, in a moment we're going to come back into the bandhas. But the second stage is where it's just a normal inhalation without interruptions. And on the second stage, you interrupt the out breath. So you exhale a little and then you hold. And then you continue walking down the ladder, stopping at each step of the ladder until you reach the perineum, and then just a normal in breath and then interrupted out breaths. If this is too intense to continuously cycle, just do one cycle and then a couple of cycles of just normal breath, and then go back and then just cycle around again. So just do whatever your body feels like it needs. So hold on to your knees, Jalandhara Bandha and Mula Bandha, but without losing the lift of the chest. Drawing the shoulder blades into the front chest. Just go back to normal apanic breath for the moment. Take a normal exhalation, a normal inhalation, and then we'll begin to interrupt the out breath until the lungs feel empty. Just remembering that retention shouldn't result in tension of the arms and of the shoulders. It's just a gentle moment of quiet until the lungs are empty. You cannot look into your mind with your eyes. In asana, the eyes should be active to adjust the asana. In breathing, the ears are important in order to listen to the sound of mind's vibration and adjust in harmony. Similarly, the mind too is a vibration in space. The sound of the mind's vibration can be perceived only by the ears. This is the penetration of introspection. It does not bring us closer to the noisy thinking capacity of brain. On the contrary, the organ of brain is pacified. It brings us closer to the intuitive faculty of mind. Nothing pertaining to pranayama can be forced. That is why it teaches humility. So prana itself and its natural companion, the higher intuitive awareness, have to be invited, enticed. When circumstances are favourable, they will come. The metaphor of catching a horse is useful here. You cannot catch a horse in a field by running after it, but if you stand still and hold out an apple, the horse will come to you. Just a couple more cycles. And then complete the cycle that you're currently on, and then bring the breath back to a normal rhythm. Just gently release Mula Bandha, release Jalandhara Bandha, and then raise your head. Just observe how your mind becomes quieter with the exhalative retentions. Stretch out your legs. Just allow the legs to gently recover, pushing the heels away, lifting and opening the chest. And then just gently come into dog down. Just stretch out your legs just to reset your energy. So those are the first two stages of Ujjayi pranayama, of Viloma pranayama. And the third stage is where you interrupt both the in-breath and the out-breath, but unfortunately we don't have time for that today. But we get to kind of end on that lovely, silent, tranquil feeling that you get from the second stage, which is the retentive exhalation. Just bring yourself down out of your dog down. Just have a blanket for your head, and then just stretch yourself out along your mat for a moment. Just remove your glasses if you're wearing them. Just let your feet fall apart. Just allow your body to release into the floor. Just observe your energy. Listen to the sound of the breath. Just allow your energy to rise up to the uppermost skin. And then just use deep inhalations, deep exhalations to distribute that feeling of lightness and energy to the tips of the toes, to the tips of the fingers, to the top of the head. Basking in the flow of positive energy. And gently wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little rock from top to bottom, from side to side. Just a gentle massage on the spine. And then just gently roll over onto your right side. And then stretch out the top leg. Just come back up into a seated position. Just a final cross legs with your hands in. Well, just initially just come into cross legs. We'll just stretch upwards, lifting up out of the hips, and then turn to the right side, just feeling the energy disperse around the body as you turn. And then come back to the center, lift and open the chest, and then turn to the left, drawing the chest away to the left side. So it looks like we've got a lovely clear day with bright, not a cloud in the sky by the looks of it. Come back to the center, just bring your hands into Namaste. Just draw the breath in through the nose down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you released through your practice this morning, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the gentle extensions and the pranayama bring to the body and to the mind. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to seek to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then as you release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards, gently raise your head and allow your eyes to softly open and focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. Thank you. So hopefully you feel as though you've really kind of brought yourself into a state of kind of level energy and but deeply energized. So thank you for joining me.